Raven Wilkinson was born on February 2nd, 1935 in New York City. From the time she was a little girl, all she wanted to do was dance. When Raven was only 5 years old, her parents took her to see the Ballet Russe di Monte Carlo. She perched on her crushed velvet seat, heard the timpani, and cried with delight even before the curtains lifted. From that moment on, her passion for dance only grew deeper. No black ballerina has ever danced with a major American touring troupe before. 15 years later, Raven Wilkinson would be the first. On Raven's 9th birthday, her uncle gifted her with ballet lessons. When Raven arrived for her first class, wearing short sneakers with her knobby knees sticking out. Her teacher, Madame Maurice Bobata, wore her red hair in a bun, loaded her fingers with rings, and smelled of a strong perfume that stayed on Raven's arms after class. "Are you French? Or maybe Spanish?" Madame asked. She didn't know what to make of light-skinned Raven. With Madame, Raven practiced uncountable pirouettes and plies, arabesques and enchapés. Her feet and ankles grew strong. Then she rose on her toes, dancing on point, defying gravity. Madame told Raven's parents, "Raven is very talented. She will dance before kings and queens." But for the next several years, Raven danced only for Madame. Raven attended college at Columbia University in 1953. While a student, she auditioned twice for the Ballet Russe. A friend said to her, "They can't take you because of your race." But Raven wouldn't give up. After her third audition, the director, Sergei Denham, said, "How would you like to be in the Ballet Russe di Monte Carlo?" "It is my dearest dream," she said. It was now 1955, and Raven, all of 20 years old, was already a trailblazer. The Ballet Russe traveled from the fall until the following spring every year. The troupe visits dozens of cities all over the United States, covering thousands of miles. Each day, Raven boarded a bus where everyone ate, slept, and rehearsed. "We were like a family," she said. The dancers even decorated the seats at Christmas. Everyone wanted the back seat where we could stretch. They performed in simple high school auditoriums as well as fancy opera houses. Many in the audience had never seen a classical dance. They shook the walls with applause and fell in love with ballet. Shortly before Raven joined the company, the United States Supreme Court handed down a major decision in 1954. The court in Brown versus the Board of Education ordered all schools that had previously admitted only white or black students, a practice known as segregation, to admit every student regardless of ethnicity. For a very long time, millions of Americans had dreamed of black students and white students learning together. Across the country, many people rejoiced. But not everyone celebrated. The Ku Klux Klan, an organization that hated the idea of integration, grew more violent, burning crosses and bombing homes of black families. 50s. When the ballet Russe headed into the South, Raven's family and friends worried. In some states, it was illegal for black dancers and white dancers to stay on the stage. Sometimes Raven lighted her skin with makeup. Friends worried, but not Raven. When Mr. Denham gave her the solo waltz in Les Sylphs, friends worried, but not Raven. When Mr. Denham gave her the solo waltz in Les Sylphs, she filled the stage with joy and grace. In 1957, their bus arrived in Atlanta, Georgia, and the dancers checked into a hotel. The hotel manager asked Raven if she was black, and Raven did not lie. "I couldn't deny my very being and who I was," she said. The manager then ordered Raven to leave, afraid that the building might be bombed if she remained. During the same tour, at a performance in Alabama, men rushed on stage shouting, "Y'all got a Negro in the company?" The dancers circled round and round, protecting Raven. Nobody batted an eye, so the men had to go away, she said. Later in the tour, Raven and her friends ate in their hotel dining room, watching parents and children enjoying dinner. Then she noticed an empty chair piled high with white robes and hoods, like dirty old laundry. Parents were teaching their children they love to become instruments of hatred, said Raven. That night, knowing it was risky, Raven chose not to perform. Instead, she stayed in her hotel and watched a cross burn from one of the windows. It could be seen for miles. In one of the most famous ballets, Swan Lake, a single ballerina might perform as both a white swan and a black swan. In one of the most famous ballets, Swan Lake, a single ballerina might perform as both a white swan and a black swan. Though Raven had danced solo roles, one of the company's ballet mistresses told Raven that a black dancer would never do Swan Lake in a ballet Russe. They weren't going to have a black dancer portray a white swan, Raven said. But I never understood why they couldn't have a black dancer be the black swan. In 1962, after spending 6 years with the Ballet Russe, Raven knew it was time to go. A devout Catholic who always felt drawn to spiritual life, she joined a convent in 1963 to seek clarity she was never able to achieve in performing. A few years later, in 1967, Raven was offered a position in the Dutch National Ballet in Holland. There, people were more far interested in who I was rather than what I was, she said. In Europe, as Madame Swoboda had once predicted, Raven will dance before royalty, Queen Juliana of the Netherlands. After 7 years of performing across Europe, Raven longed for home. In 1974, Raven returned to the United States. She joined the New York City Opera, dancing until 1985 when she was 50 and taking on other acting roles until 2011 when opera closed its doors for good. In 2015, almost exactly 60 years after Raven joined the Ballet Russe, Misty Copeland became the first African-American principal dancer with a ballet theater. As both Odette and Adele in Swan Lake, she made front-page news as the world applauded. Misty credited Raven as being instrumental in helping her find her place in the ballet world. Raven was at the performance to celebrate. As the cheers rose like thunderclaps, during many curtain calls, Raven joined Misty on stage, and the two dancers joined hands. She was my mentor in life even before I met her, Misty said. Raven Wilkinson, with her talent and courage, had led the way. Happy birthday, Raven Wilkinson. Thank you for reading with me.